Hi, I'm Jules. I am the founder of Aluna Wellbeing, which is a wellness and fitness brand that I want to look different. I want it to show you that exercise and movement does not have to look one certain way, and I'm hoping to explain that to you and my reasons why in this little video. I want you to know that your body is worth so much more than just how it looks. And I want people to stop, us all to stop making assumptions about people and their lives that they are leading based on their body. We don't know anything about their lives, their behaviours, what they do, their thoughts, decisions they make based on their bodies. Yet as a society, that is very much what we do. And I want health to be recognised as something that truly reflects all of you, not just the way that your body looks, but every aspect of you and your life. And you can make those choices based on what you want and not what the rules say, all the rules. I want to finally be done with the idea that only what we see on the outside is of any real value and any real currency in the world that we live in. I want you to choose to wear that most amazing dress you just allowed yourself to get. I want you to choose to do something really cool with your hair or wear that bright pop of lipstick, but I want you to choose it with you at the center of that and nobody else. And obviously, as a personal trainer, fitness instructor, I want you to know that exercise can be for you too, but it gets to look how you want it to be. So I want to open your world so that you can see that it doesn't just have to be in a gym. You get to choose how you move your body. You get to choose rest as well. And you get to choose it for you. We know that there are specific health benefits for lifting heavy, for raising your heart rate, for doing more mobility and flexibility stuff. You literally only have to open a social media app and someone is telling you the benefits of the one thing that they are selling to you. And most of it is true, a lot of it isn't. But there are truths behind the fact that physical exercise in certain areas has certain benefits. But we are missing the big picture if we just focus on one thing. Because by adding rule after rule after rule after rule, we are finding that people get overwhelmed with what to do, and we're missing allowing ourselves to choose, forcing ourselves to do cardio twice a week, yoga twice a week, lifting twice a week, walking twice a week, all in the name of health. But the tail is wagging the dog here. If you are making all of these healthy choices, you're putting all of these behaviours into place in the name of living a healthy life, when are you going to start living that life? All of these practices are being put in place from a really good place for good reasons. We are doing this in the name of health. But I believe that that can only really happen when we put it into our lives with intention. And we can only really do this effectively when you know your personal reasons, you understand why you are choosing to do something, and you are basing those intentions entirely on you and not anybody else or anyone else's perceptions of you. I know that this is going to sound controversial, but it is a belief that I have that weight loss very often isn't about you. It's not about your body, even if it feels like that right now, quite often. And I want you to check in where your intentions come from, because for some people this will be different. But I think a lot of the thinking behind the fitness industry is that weight loss comes from needing to fit into a box, needing to be accepted. And that is what I'm looking to change. So if weight loss is a goal of yours, have a think about what the intention is behind it. Why do you want to do this next process to get to a point? Because for me, that box that we are all trying to fit into has such narrow parameters that it isn't actually realistic that we can fit into it at all. Is it that we all feel safe because we've made assumptions about somebody's body. We've looked at them, we've assumed that we know something about them. And by everybody then adhering to these narrow parameters of bodies that we see everywhere, not too big, not too small, when we finally get everybody to fit into that box, we all feel quite safe that we have learned the rules and the rules are working. So everyone's happy. But that truth that we know, we think we know that health has a certain size, that truth and that science is being dispelled all the time. We're finding more and more research into this. And it is actually being found time and time again that the weight stigma, that is the way that people are treated based on their body, that is the assumptions that we are making about them. The weight stigma is having more of a negative effect on a person's health than the actual weight of their body. To rephrase that, the way that we treat a person based on their body has more of a negative effect on their health than the actual weight of their body. Yet we are still making those assumptions. And I get, because if all of this is making sense and there's a little thread going through it, then it probably makes sense to still lose some weight, because then you will fit in and you will feel more accepted, and then the mental health benefits will come from this as well. But surely this is just forcing a square peg into a round hole, and we have been doing it for generations, trying to change the shape of that peg in any direction, even if the peg's DNA is saying that it can't be done. Maybe it's time that we look at changing the shape and the size of the hole that we are trying to fit everybody into instead, where all bodies are accepted, where an individual's health behaviours are determining the outcome of their health, as opposed to the way that they look, how much that they weigh. And when we talk about health, we have to understand that we cannot have health on a pedestal, because when we think about health, we aren't looking at illness or disease, and we don't have control over those things. And those assumptions that we're making about somebody's body and their health is actually none of our business. And to take the focus off controlling so much, we're grasping at health like it is something we have this huge influence over. But if we can accept that we don't have as much influence as we would like, and I get that that can feel really difficult, but we don't have all of that influence over it, then maybe the point is to be healthy enough to live the life that we want. And in my opinion, and the work that I do with my clients, is we let go of that control little bit by little bit, because your life is worth so much more than being the smallest version of yourself. And in so many ways, it is worth you being able to be the biggest version of yourself, regardless of your body. I want to tell you a little story. Look at my big belly mum, says my 4-year-old daughter, as she peers down at her lovely, soft, round belly with a smile on her face, and she is just noticing, no judgment. And it made me wonder to myself, when do we stop associating lovely, round, soft, and belly? When do those terms start to take on more negative connotations or feel almost insulting? At what age does that happen? Is it no longer cute? Because that is the reality of the world that we live in. Her body might not change, but at some point that will no longer be acceptable. Where somewhere in the midst of adolescence and early adulthood, where are we losing that innate lack of judgment and that ability to just know ourselves and just observe? Throughout the Body Confidence Unlocked workshop, I am going to be talking you through what has happened to that self-belief that we know we had as tiny young people, and how we can start to bring that back into our lives, because so often it is not even about the body.